Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Lifestyle Architecture Lab. In this show, I talk about lifestyle design, financial freedom, and also dissect the process, behavior, and routines of the personalities who have designed a lifestyle of freedom for themselves. These guests range from artists, musicians, entrepreneurs, lifestyle coaches, investors, professional athletes, etc. These conversations dig deep into their stories to find out their thought process, tools, strategies, and tricks that makes them tick.
This is happening.
Let me just do what I love to.
No 9 to 5.
Eat that frog. You gotta work hard.
Risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. This is Lifestyle Architecture Lab, and I'm your host Himanshu Sachdeva.
In this episode, I'm talking to Monica Chopra, who is an entrepreneur and has built up a company named The Eco Trunk, which curates eco friendly products on their online store to help people live a conscious lifestyle of veganism. She herself is a vegan and cares a lot about the environment and the carbon footprint. In this conversation, we talk about a wide variety of things, starting from her own story, leaving a high paying career to finally go forward to her calling, and building up the eco trunk from scratch. How our environment is getting worse, and what measures we can take as individuals to reduce our carbon footprints. We also talk about challenges she faced as a young entrepreneur and go in detail about the issues and pain points of the modern online stores like packaging, delivery system, and sustaining the company. So, without further ado, please enjoy this conversation with Monica Chopra. Hey, Monica, welcome to the show.
Hi, Himanshu. Thank you so much for making me a part of this.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to have you here. I think we can start off this conversation by giving a little bit context about you. So, after doing your fashion design course, until few years back, you were doing bridal fashion work and earning good amount of money. But then you changed your life course altogether and sort of went back to the roots to start over again on the path which was much harder to pursue. And being a vegan, making conscious decisions which may not necessarily have translated into more money, but surely gave you contentment as a human being. So, can you please take us through your journey?
Yeah, sure. Now, the thing is that I've always loved animals. I've always wanted to do something for the environment, but I didn't know what. I
Mm-hmm.
was never sure that what could I really do to make a difference.
Yeah.
And so, a very conventional career path was doing fashion design. I was creative. I liked designing. So,
Mm-hmm.
bridal wear was a very obvious choice for me.
Yeah.
Uh, and also, we stress a lot about financial independence and sustenance, which is obviously very important. But what we don't realize is that if you're not really happy with what you're doing, and if you're not really in tune or aligned with your life purpose or what you really, really feel from the inside, then it's not going to work out in the long run. At least
Mm-hmm.
that was what was happening with me. Is that even though we were doing successful shows and I had a very good clientele, etc. I was not over the moon about it. I was always, there was always this little sadness inside that, what am I doing with my life? I'm supposed to sit and do something for the environment because I would get really affected when I would read reports on, farmers committing suicide or, how animals are exploited for meat, leather, dairy. All
Yeah.
of this would really, really affect me. And the fact that I was not doing anything about it would even make it worse for me. I was not able to really focus on my fashion design as much.
Yeah.
So there came a time when I thought that, this is bogging me down so much that I want to just take a break. So when I took a 1 year break from my fashion design, And I decided to travel and decided to read up a little more about what I was thinking so much on.
Mm-hmm.
I decided what could I possibly do in terms of a career also, where I take up something where I'm able to make an active difference. Like for my, I think my first choice was actually starting a organic clothing label, and that's how it all started. Actually, my idea was there, and which took me to Auroville.
Auroville. Yeah.
Yeah, Auroville
Okay.
in Tamil Nadu, and I stayed there for about a month because I decided to explore the city. I decided to also volunteer with the organic clothing line over there.
So it was like a reset trip and kind of a retreat also.
I wouldn't say it a retreat because it was a 9 to 5 job.
Acha, there. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They asked me to come and report at 9 a.m. and I would be left at 5 p.m. and we were working throughout the day there.
Okay.
It was an unpaid volunteering work where they took care of our food and lodging, but
Okay.
they kind of. But for me, that was what was important is that they were giving me an opportunity to work directly with artisans and an organic clothing line.
Oh, wow.
And I was there to learn as much as I could because I really wanted to see how I can also do something similar or maybe contribute maybe in this way. Maybe I can design for them
Yeah, yeah.
or work for their marketing or whatever. So I had the best time of my life in that 1 month working under this amazing lady called Uma.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was at this place called Upasna.
Upasana.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that entire 1 month was very was an eye opener for me actually, because before that I had I didn't really read up enough. I didn't know much about how where our clothes are actually ending up. We
Mm-hmm.
the whole landfill problem that is there in every country now,
Yeah, yeah.
where people are just we buy cheap clothes and then we throw it away within a month, 2 months. We've hardly worn it 2 to 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
and that is really contributing a lot to the pollution as well. By the time I had gone to Auroville, I was already a vegan, so I
Okay.
was already quite sure that whatever clothing I wanted to make would have to be sans any animal cruelty, no leather or silk,
Okay.
because I find all of these extremely cruel, and it's really shocking that a lot of us don't even know where silk is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, silk is a part of pretty much every woman's wardrobe. You want a kanjivaram or a pure silk sari. And even when I was a bridal wear designer, I had tried to make my entire collection vegan. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone was, wanted to buy something from my collection, they would not be able to tell that this is not a real silk sari and this is, maybe artificial silk or a more eco-friendly fabric which looks just like silk.
Okay.
And if I would tell them that yes, this is a bamboo silk or a banana silk, they would just not want it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They'd probably be very fascinated by it, but they
Yeah.
want pure, real silk sari. And what baffles me is they don't even know how it's made, most of them. They
Yeah.
don't know that they're actual cocoons who are boiled alive.
Oh my
And there
God.
are thousands and thousands of them that have to be boiled to make one single silk sari.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
It's just
I
bizarre.
would say it's bizarre, it's heartbreaking actually. And even
True.
when you tell some people about it, they want to not do anything about it. So I realized that, a few of us who really want to make a difference, our journey is really, really long. One is you have to get the alternatives to people which looks even better than silk. And
Yeah.
currently, unfortunately, there are very few. And sometimes it's slightly more expensive than silk.
Are there any alternatives which probably you want to mention here?
There are so many. In every shop you go and ask for art silk, you're going to get something that looks exactly the same as silk, I would say.
So it's art silk basically.
It's called art silk, yeah.
Okay.
And what happens is that art silk actually has a lot more longevity than real silk. Silk tends to tear, silk tends to degrade over time.
True, because it's coming from natural cocoons, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to degrade. Over a period of time, it's going to degrade. But art silk, for those who want to keep your sarees forever and ever, then an art silk is going to give you a lot longer life than your silk saree.
So what material they use while making art silk?
So it is artificial. This
Okay.
art silk that I'm talking about is artificial, but if you want to go for natural fabrics, you do have options for natural fabrics as well, you
Okay.
know. So there is bamboo silk, and there is a wood fiber that is introduced very recently, which has a beautiful sheen, just like silk.
Oh, wow.
Even linen saris look a lot like silk saris. Actually, they look like a khadi silk. They have a khadi silk texture,
Mm-hmm.
and there is absolutely no silk in it. So if you buy a pure linen sari, you're going to look just as good. So silk is not the be all
Wow.
and end all. Is what
True.
I was really wanted to try and make a point. I think 5 years ago when I quit my fashion, I didn't quit fashion. I would say I paused it because I really wanted to change
Yeah.
the direction of where it was going.
Yeah, because you like fashion, but I guess consciously in your mind you were not at all content with the choices you were making for the fabrics, and so you wanted to move away from these silk or things which can hamper animals and not cruelty free, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were discussing the other day, and you mentioned that you were also doing coding, and then you had this design sense and aesthetic sense also. So you wanted to like sort of bring it together into your blog, which we'll talk about later. So
Hmm.
how did that, I mean, initially started?
I've had a very interesting background. I'm a computer science graduate, wherein we had a lot of coding, and I've done Java, C, C++, and I used to sit in front of the computer for hours and do coding.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that nerdy side to me.
Uh-huh.
And after that, I decided to pursue my fashion because I really enjoyed designing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't regret it at all because I really, really did dive completely into my fashion design. Not only did I do a full-fledged 2-year course, I also went abroad and did a specialization in fashion.
Yeah.
For 5 full years, I was just working as a bridal wear designer. I had my own label. And after that, that when I was having trouble sleeping, literally, where I would hear about how inorganic fabrics, how they are harming the environment.
Yeah.
There was something about inside me that really wanted to make a difference, and
Mm-hmm.
it was you can't ignore your calling for too long, like they say.
True, true.
So I mean, of course, there was a lot of fear also to quit what was doing extremely well
Yeah.
and get into something which I had no idea which direction it would go in. What really made me stronger, I would say, is that I went for a Vipassana course. I mean, yeah, that's really important for me to mention because before Vipassana, even though I was always like, yes, I want to do this and that and all of that, I
Mm-hmm.
never really got down to doing it because there was too much fear. There was too much anxiety about where, what, how. I didn't even
Yeah.
have a clear idea of what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a Vipassana course for 10 days at Igatpuri.
So, can you describe for the audience who might not know what Vipassana is, can you describe what is it exactly and how you can enroll for it?
Sure. So Vipassana is a meditation course. It is
Mm-hmm.
a residential meditation course wherein you are in one of the centers wherever all over the world actually now.
All over the
Uh,
world. Wow.
they're all over the world. Yeah, you can be anywhere and you'll have a meditation center close to your city
Mm-hmm.
or area also.
Okay.
And it's a 10-day course. You are supposed to stay in this residential center. So they take away your phone completely. You don't have a book to read. You can't read. Basically, you can't check your phone. No laptops. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a silent meditation course, which means you can't talk to anybody as well, and
Wow.
complete isolation really I think aligns most of us to who what we really need to listen to, which is ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of us,
Your inner voice probably which we can't
yeah,
listen to in the all this distraction.
yeah, exactly. We are too distracted. We are too caught up. You know,
True, true.
I mean, if I haven't checked my phone for half an hour, I really get anxiety. I mean, I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, we are all caught up in the notifications.
All of us are like that. We're constantly checking our Instagram or we're on the laptop, checking our email, etc. I think that's the most important and one of the most difficult courses I've ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was difficult because it is a very difficult meditation. It's not easy because a lot of your inner fears, a lot of your inner darkness, I would say, is right there in front of you, and you're the only one who will have to deal with it. This is not like a counseling or a somebody who's listening to you and telling you advice or any of that. None of it. There's no chance. There's nothing.
Yeah.
You are with you, listening to you, and if things are going well, healing as much as possible, and you're doing everything yourself. So it's also very empowering at the end of it.
So yeah, sometimes probably what we actually want to listen, which is our inner voice, but we are sometimes so fearful that we tend to make ourselves busy with other things and actually get into distractions by ourselves so that we can't listen to that voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Even if we know somewhere deep down that this is what is probably our life calling,
Yeah,
it's too scary for most of us to do anything about it, and we just shut it off
yeah,
and we get busy with other things because it's a rat race. And once you're part of a rat race, you just want to keep running.
true.
And it's very difficult to step out of it, really listen to who you want to be, what you really are, what are you aligning with,
Hmm.
and then follow a completely different career path. I think is the most brave thing to do in today's time.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, just sitting 5 to 10 minutes of like complete silence, it freaks me out sometimes because inside your head there is so much going on, and suddenly when you stop and just concentrate on your breathing, then again all these thoughts are coming like rushing back to your head, and like yeah, I'm just trying to like make myself calmer in all these meditations which I also do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Before I went for Vipassana, I couldn't sit idle for 5 minutes and meditate. I couldn't meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put it simply. I could not close my eyes and meditate at all. And to go for a course where you're supposed to meditate for 10 hours a day
Wow. That's
was
a
a
long period.
yeah, it was the most shocking thing I've ever done, and most difficult. That's why it was so difficult for me,
Hmm.
but also the most rewarding. So if anybody is listening to this and is having second thoughts about Vipassana, please just go for it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it can change your life, and that is scary, but still do it.
Yeah, you will be able to connect with yourself like on a deeper level, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it changed my career. It changed my life, I would say. It
Wow.
was what I was before, even personality wise. I
Mm-hmm.
was very highly anxious, hyperactive, and I'm not saying I'm not like that anymore, but there's so much less. Like I would say 80% just went away. I left my anxiety back in the Vipassana center.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And very much related to that, another aspect of this which we were discussing that day, it was minimalism. So,
Hmm.
can you provide a little bit detail about minimalism as well? What is it for you exactly, minimalism?
Yeah, so again, going back to my fashion days, being a fashion person, what happens is you're constantly judged for how you're looking. And I was anyway someone who really enjoyed retail therapy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed buying new clothes all the time. I like repeating my clothes. So there were times when I would wear it a couple of times, or maybe maximum 3 times, and I would like say, okay, that's it now. And so that is the kind of person I was earlier. Because also I was not aware about landfills.
Yeah.
I was not aware that all these clothes that are going, where are they going? I never asked these questions that whatever you throw away, where really is it going?
Hmm.
In my mind, it was getting used by someone else, maybe, or it was getting recycled. But that's not the truth actually, because most of the clothes that get thrown away really land up in landfills.
So what kind of percentage, you have any idea how much percent of the used clothes go into landfill?
I don't have a percentage of a worldwide scale, but I know in India a lot of it goes. I
Hmm.
would say most of it, very few gets recycled. Like if you give it to maybe a charity,
True.
then they kind of recycle it by giving it to people who are,
Who need it
uh,
basically.
yeah, who need the clothes. But
Hmm.
even there, they will wear it a few times, and again, it's going to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Eventually, it ends up in the landfill itself.
yes, yeah. So the point is to reduce from the word go. Like, I keep asking myself if I really need something.
Mm-hmm.
It's come to a point where I have so for almost 2 or 3 years I didn't shop at all.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went completely. I just flipped the other way. No, so there was also a very big inspiration in Uma when I was working in Oroville at Upasana.
Mm-hmm.
So Uma was a big influence in the way she herself was such a minimalist and yet very well turned out.
Mm-hmm.
So I took inspiration from that. We also had many conversations about how clothes land up in landfills
Yeah.
and what really happens to those clothes because most of them are chemically dyed and they're not
Yeah.
organic. So when they do degrade, the soil gets completely messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So, both the things. One is when you buy, you should buy less. And second is, what are you really buying? Are you buying something that's organic, which is going to biodegrade and go into the soil and merge with it?
True.
So, in every way, your choices are going to greatly affect what you're giving to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So minimalism is huge. I mean, for me right now, I consider myself someone who shops after thinking 20 times about something that if I really,
Yeah.
really need it.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no qualms wearing the same outfit at least 30, 50 times. If I've not worn it at least 30, 40 times, I feel like it's a wasted thing. Like, how can I not wear it? Minimalism, it's in terms of everything, in terms of fashion, in terms of a whole lifestyle change. So
Mm-hmm.
even with when it comes to food or when it comes to buying anything, home and living or
Yeah.
any of that, I would say I'm more conscious rather than just a minimalist. You're going to buy stuff that's packaged in paper instead of plastic, things
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to buy more organic and sustainable fabrics instead of regular cotton.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing. A lot of people think pure cotton is equivalent to 100% organic, but it's not actually. Cotton is one of the most polluting crops currently in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And no amount of pure cotton can take away your how many pesticides it has used.
Mm. Yeah, I think while making that crop itself, so many pesticides are being used, and then in the initial stage itself, it's done so much pollution. So, can you put some bullet points if somebody wants to start off with minimalism in their lives?
Yeah, so the way I got conscious was because I was, one is I surrounded myself with those kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is if you're doing too much on your own, it gets a bit overwhelming also.
Yeah.
And when I was in Oroville, I was sharing the room with a girl who was conscious to another level. She was a
Wow.
minimalist. She had not, again, so, there's some inspiration I've taken from a lot of people I was surrounded by. She was someone who refused to shop completely. And she's like, I go to secondhand shops and pick up stuff. And, she was one of those.
Wow.
And so, there are different people who inspire you in different ways. So minimalism is not just about clothes. It's also about, the laundry that you are giving your clothes in, the washing, the water,
Mm-hmm.
the laundry powder, the labor that you're using for
Everything which is involved with the process, right?
yeah, exactly. So conscious is also when you are reducing all of it, try and wear your night suit twice instead of just wearing it one day and throwing it for a wash, stuff like that. So if I had to give bullet points, I don't know, I would probably start by saying that work backward. Just start asking for everything that you use around you. Where is this going to land up?
Mm-hmm.
That was my first thing, that just buy clothes that you're going to wear for a long time, which you can repeat in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like a white shirt that can be worn as a jacket, that can be worn as a tuck-in shirt or anything like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Start buying organic. A lot of bamboo clothing, organic hemp clothing is now not that expensive.
Mm.
It's
True.
actually the same range as H&M and Zara. So if
Yeah.
you are to go to an H&M, you might as well go here and pick it up.
True.
There
Yeah.
may not be that many stores that have it, but there are also lots of online shops that have it. One of them is our shop.
Yeah. The eco
So
tank.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
free to, we have t-shirts for as low as 600, 800.
Yeah, the normal t-shirts are also they're coming to the rate of 1,000 also today, I think.
Yeah, and when you go outside to an H&M, nothing's below 1200 anyway.
Yeah.
So it's actually at par with one of the fast fashion brands now. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's, gone are the days when things were too expensive because they were just one or two brands doing it.
Yeah. In early days, I think they were coming in 2000, 3000, something like that. So people were a little reluctant to like go ahead and buy organic and eco-friendly stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier things were very expensive. I don't deny it. And I empathize with the brands also because at that point there were very few players in the organic fabrics also.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who was making organic fabric to sell it to these designers also was charging a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
So they could get, their sourcing was very expensive, and then they are making also, and all of that. So put together, it was expensive, but I think now things have really, really uh, become more normal.
Yeah, I think you are also one of the change makers. So because it is your own itch that you want to like buy eco-friendly and the minimalist stuff. So you came up with the eco trunk, and now you are helping people out to make healthy and eco-friendly choices by selling it on your shop.
So we started as a blog actually. What
Yeah.
I decided was I want to start making people aware because there was a time when I was not aware,
Yeah.
and this is without judgment completely because I knew that I have also made a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And all it takes is a dialogue. All it takes is to start a conversation and tell people that this is what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And I am very positive that most people who, when they listen to it, they really want to make a difference. They want to change. They want to take that conversation further and say that, okay, now what can I do? And that's when we started. So the blog was doing really well. We were having conversations with some amazing people, and people were really, really understanding the whole idea that we were trying to present. And it was
Yeah.
not just about fashion; it was about animals. It was about veganism, and how not only is veganism the most important thing currently in the world right now, because animals are brutally murdered for meat, for leather, for dairy, So my heart goes out for such social injustice,
Mm-hmm.
which is happening in broad daylight. And trust me, it really bothers me that people have desensitized themselves so much to such cruelty,
Yeah.
which is happening right under their noses. And of course, vegan diet is also extremely sustainable right now. So when we're talking about the sustainable angle, we are at a very urgent time. I would say, it's a very scary time. Every other day
Mm-hmm.
we're hearing UN or the BBC talk about climate change and how we have only 12 years left. And by
Yeah.
2020, I don't know, 2030 or 2040, there are not going to be any fishes in the ocean. And you keep hearing news like that.
Yeah, it's super scary, and the glaciers are melting, and that's why the temperature point is rising in the world. So it gives me sheer like fear sometimes. What will happen?
Exactly, exactly. And the problem is we are just a few of us who are worried.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest problem. How come Pepsi and Coca-Cola are not asked to shut down their companies yet because they are the biggest polluters?
Mm-hmm.
With 700 people trying to make a difference by, quitting plastic and this and that is not going to make as much of a difference. I mean, of course it is,
Yeah.
but largely the world needs to change, and you just have to blacklist those companies because we are not at a stage anymore where we can take their shit anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We just can't, when you have only 12 years left for a permanent climate change, irreversible climate change. I think this is probably the end of the world. This is what the end of the world is looking like. And if this is
Mm.
not scaring you and you still want to just go to work and not bother about anything, then it's really sad.
True, I agree with that. And I think the education which you are trying to put, I mean, these things are stepping stone, and more people should like come together who are actually vegan themselves, or maybe conscious and eco-friendly. So people who are conscious about environment as well, I think they are making some progress there. But I think because we are less in numbers, so it is not like going as exponential as it should, because the climate change, the permanent climate change, as you said, the point where there will be no return, it is very near. So I think more people need to listen this, and then act on it.
Yeah, sure. That's what I was trying to say, that meat-free diet happens to be on top of the list of a sustainable world.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was doing my research, and even though I was vegan, I was still trying to understand, what are the simplest and the fastest ways to make this world less toxic and more sustainable. And a vegan diet actually comes number one.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main reasons is animal agriculture currently is one of the biggest polluters,
Yeah.
and one of the biggest reasons for the climate change.
Mm-hmm.
And that really shocked me, because I thought, it's just regular pollution. I thought it's the planes and the cars and the AC and whatever else that we are made to believe. But actually, all of that is a very small percentage. It is, of course, there, it's adding to it. But the highest percentage is animal agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
where actually animals are bred by the millions.
Yeah.
If you leave a cow or any other animal in the natural ecosystem, they will not breed the way they are made to breed just for the production of meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are billions and billions of animals right now who are slaughtered. And how do those billions of animals come up? They are bred and repeatedly bred just for meat.
Yeah, I think when I also talk to people like why you are eating meat, so the common response which I hear is if we stop eating meat, where will the animals go? So the normal food chain will break. That's what I tell them, that because it is not normal that the animals are bred the way they should be. They are produced in factories for your meat consumption. So that is how they are
Exactly.
bred. Coming back to your blog, so was there any inflection point where you thought, yeah, now I can start, like I should start my own brand, the Eco Trunk, like to sell this stuff which people are not able to buy anywhere else, like
Yeah.
in their common knowledge?
So when we started the blog, no,
Yeah,
we were having interesting conversations with people. A lot of people came up and said, "Oh, great! We finally can relate to this stuff. We understand what you're talking," and we just naturally found a good voice among people also who
mm-hmm,
were ready for a change.
mm-hmm,
But we also noticed that they didn't know where to pick up the vegan shoe or eco-friendly t-shirt, or they would constantly ask us, where can we buy, where can we buy, or
yeah,
it was very expensive wherever it was available, and they were like, this is out of our budget.
yeah,
Which is
true,
when we decided that, okay, let's get a shop up and running.
yeah,
Let's provide the alternatives that we are screaming so much about. let's
mm-hmm.
let's really have the organic and the naturally dyed and all of those vegan products that we've been talking about, and give people a chance to start the lifestyle change.
Wow. And can you also talk a little bit about your academics? Like you said, you did the bachelor's in computer science and pursued design, and eventually, I think you did fashion design course in London.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So my academic background really helps in my e-commerce right now, because
Hmm.
when you're running an e-commerce shop, you really I didn't know that I would be needed to work so much on my back, and I always thought there'll be someone who will do it for me. But when
Yeah.
you're a startup and bootstrap, you're just going to have to do a lot of things yourself.
Yeah, yeah. All the things I think you need to be a part of.
So initially, for the first whole year, I pretty much did everything on my own, like right from social media to fixing a back-end bug to understanding how to, make everything, smallest things to the biggest things. We were
Yeah.
learning on the go, on the job.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my background in computer science really helped me, because otherwise I'd be a lost puppy trying to run a website. It's not that easy, according to me.
Yeah.
So, I have a nerdy side to me where I have done a lot of coding, Java, C++, all of that.
Hmm.
So a lot of that helped me with. I haven't made the website on my own, but I can dive into it and fix a couple of bugs here and there.
Yeah.
I can, which is why it was smoother to run the website, because I was hands on.
You knew the coding a little bit, and then that is how you were able to
Yeah,
like dive into it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I think my fashion design perhaps must have helped me with the design part, where social media also gives me um, it's a lot of fun to work on the social media because there a lot of people, most people are visual, so when they see something they want to read it, but first they
Yeah,
have to see a good picture.
correct, true.
So getting that together, I mean, of course now thankfully I have a small team, but
Mm-hmm.
there was a time when I was sitting and doing everything from A to Z. Even now when we sit down for our meetings, I'm trying to give them both a visual and a technical picture both.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how it rolls. And yeah, I would just say it's one of the most difficult things again that I've done, starting an e-commerce company, that to 100% ethical and vegan one.
Yeah.
It's been quite a journey, I would say, and we are in the third year. This year, it's our third year,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still learning. We're still working towards making it profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the orders, thankfully. So we from the first year till now, it's been a progress. That's important. From the first year where things were okay till now, where we are doing. We have a certain volume that we are generating. We have a certain turnover. So all these things I didn't expect when we started. I had absolutely zero idea where this would end up. I
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
we were just test running. We were one of the first that actually came up. We were actually the first. There was
Wow.
nothing for this which had a completely vegan tag to it,
Mm-hmm.
and so which is also why we were not sure how people are going to accept it. What is the response going to be like?
So in initial times, so were you testing out products before you would launch on the site?
Yeah, so ours was a highly curated website. It
Mm-hmm.
still is. We don't take on everybody and anybody. We try and interview the founder. We understand how the products are. And for someone who's just starting out, we always test run the products. But it's not so. Right now, we have more than 1,000 products on the site, and
Wow. Mm-hmm.
it's not possible to have a test run of every product. For example, if a company comes on board with 200 products,
Mm-hmm.
we'll probably try, five or six products from their entire inventory. Yeah, it's not possible to have test run the whole thing. But we have a good relationship with most of our vendors,
Mm. Yeah.
and they understand vegan because one is we have to educate them about veganism. Not,
Mm-hmm.
although most of the brands are already vegan that come on board, there are some who are vegan friendly,
Yeah.
and we are happy to take their vegan products on board. But
Okay.
we also talk to them about what vegan is and how they can convert the entire brand to vegan and why they should. So we try and sell the brand vegan a lot because
Mm-hmm.
we know that the future is also vegan. That is
Yeah.
the only way we're going to save the planet, actually.
Yeah.
So the sooner people understand it and the sooner they accept it, I think that will be just much easier and for everybody.
Yeah, so just to put it into context a bit, so your the online store which you have, it's sort of a curated store. So currently you are not designing the products by yourself. So you are like onboarding the products which you find can fulfill your requirements, and then you are like curating those products, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we are a marketplace where we
Yeah.
have different brands on board.
Mm-hmm.
And the eco trunk, so currently we have very little bandwidth to make our own designs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. True. Mm-hmm.
But eventually, we really hope that we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you should. I think you should start designing your product soon. I think that'll be a great idea. So, coming back to this online business, what difficulties you face starting this business?
Uh, so everything, I would say, starting with the maybe investment would be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two would be uh, so this was a very new line for me. I had never done an e-commerce
Yeah.
site before. Um, and what happens is it is, even though it's much cheaper than having an actual store, because in a city like Mumbai, having an
Yeah.
actual store is huge money, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a capital investment in the start itself, so it's huge money.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And plus, running the store and having a manager there and, whatever,
Yeah.
etc. It's just
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
You have to be there physically all the time. That way, compared to that, I would say an online store is far easier, but there are different problems that you face. You have so when someone is picking up something online, You are responsible not only for the quality of the product that's reaching the customer, you are responsible for how soon it reaches the customer.
The delivery part, basically.
Yeah, logistics. And initially, we faced a few difficulties. We were not prepared for how nasty that logistics business is, because we had tied up with a couple of logistic companies. And when you're very new and when they don't really know who you are, they don't turn up. We would keep scheduling it, we would keep rescheduling it, and they would just not turn up. And until we had to really write very long mails to the customer support saying this that, then one FedEx guy would come. But initially there is always those hiccups are there. There's a logistic hiccups. There is a hiccup that big brands don't want to associate with you because you've just started.
Yeah.
Lots of those things happened initially, and we were just heartbroken because we were like, we want to do this and we want to do that, but we were not able to because also we were bootstrapped completely. So all of it was just coming from my savings and a little bit of dad's help here and there. And, we were just like, okay, let's just do this ourselves. We were a little shy of having investors on board, even though we were actually approached by a couple of investors. Some people actually told us that, we would like to help and get on board and be an investor here.
Wow.
Now I know it would seem like a lot, one of the most brilliant things to happen to a company. But we actually refused the investment at that point because we were too new in the field at that point. This was just really our first year actually. And we thought that it's only when we actually can make some profit and show to them is when we should actually get them on board.
Yeah, because when you're collaborating with them, maybe even if it is a VC, so they should be able to get some value back eventually, right? That is why they come on board.
That was what we were also thinking.
Yeah.
Which is why then, the second year was even more difficult because again, we had to just, go back to our pockets and just remove whatever else was left and put our own money into everything.
Yeah.
And, but the second year I would say looked very good by the end of second year, we were doing quite well. And third year has come with its own challenges. So I would say we are growing. We are growing as organically as possible without anybody's help. Doing everything on our own. And it's been a good experience, trust me. It's I can write a book on it now.
Wow. Probably sometime soon. I think it will help out others also who are trying to do something similar, maybe with organic things or online commerce sites which are not conventional products. So I think it might help them out.
Yeah. Although, I want to stop saying that they are unconventional because honestly, this is the new normal, honestly. According
this
to me,
should be the new normal. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, the others are not, according to me, doing the right thing. And for most people, I think now this should become the new normal.
Yeah.
And there's so many more now. Every other day there's a new e-commerce site propping up, which has the word vegan now. And we are taking complete credit for it because there was a time
you started out.
People were shying away from using the word vegan, and they'd come up and they'd say, "Yeah, we have vegan-friendly products, but we don't want to write it's vegan."
True.
But now it's become a big word now. So now every other website that has even one product that's vegan, they'll just splash it all over the internet that we are vegan-friendly and we have vegan products. And we feel it's great. The more, the better. Because that's how you're going to expose the word to more people. That's how you're going to give more alternatives to a bigger audience. We may not be able to reach out to the whole country, obviously. So if there's somebody else doing vegan also and in some other location, then we are just happy that they are also working towards the same cause that we are working towards.
Yeah, I think when small online stores are making this kind of progress, so the big major league online retailers like Amazon or things like that, they will also notice. I think I've heard in the US on the Amazon store, they have a section for vegan friendly products as well. So I think, it will make an impact.
I don't know. Amazon hasn't got in touch with us. So we are also selling on Amazon. But Amazon hasn't really got in touch with us saying, oh, hey, good, you guys are doing good work. It's just that we are using Amazon to reach a bigger audience.
True.
So we are also on Flipkart, and our own website also gets a decent amount of footfall. We have about at least 500 to 800 people who visit our website on a daily basis.
Wow, that's a good number for a retail
Massive.
store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for us, that's great. I mean, we also wonder who are these people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say the sales conversion is wow. We are okay, but it has a potential to get better. We're just trying to add as many products that we know that people are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Vegetarian meat is doing really well.
Vegetarian meat. So is that made out of the jackfruit, like some other products are making?
No, it's made out of it's made out of a lot of things. So there's this company called Good Dot that has made this really, really amazing product. So they've got quinoa, they've added a little bit of soya, quinoa, a lot of herbs and masala.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. They don't have this one thing that it's made of. You know, like how soya nuggets are made of soya.
Yeah.
Here they have a bunch of things that they have added to it, like quinoa and a lot of other things. So it makes it very healthy and high protein.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also very delicious. So I'm a Punjabi, and my family was big on meat
Yeah.
until everybody's turned vegetarian and vegan now.
Wow.
So they do miss the taste once in a while, and I feel like if you are someone who misses the taste, then vegetarian meat really comes very close
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you can't have chicken as it is, right? You
Yeah,
always
yeah.
cook it in a great masala. So if
Right.
you put that masala to anything else, it's going to taste the same.
True.
So yeah, we have a lot of different products. We have everything from clothing, shoes, bags, jewelry. We have food items, a lot of food items.
Oh, you sell food items as well on the store?
Yeah, we have everything from vegan cakes to vegan egg to buttermilk, which is vegan,
Wow.
dairy free, rolled oats, breakfast stuff to
Mm-hmm.
everything. Like we have pretty much the whole thing. We're
Wow.
adding jams and pickles now.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. For us, personal care becomes more fast moving. So we introduced a lot of eco-friendly products there, like bamboo shaver. Then we have bamboo brush, bamboo straws. We have, natural laundry detergent. We have natural floor cleaner, natural dishwasher. All of these things put together, people are very happy to buy.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying the personal care products are most fast moving.
Yeah, they
All
are.
right. And being an entrepreneur can take a lot of toll on your body and mind. So how do you keep the balance by disconnecting from it and seeing it from a broader perspective? Because so many times it happens that we get so carried away that we don't see where we are headed actually. So how do you keep the balance?
I'm learning how to keep the balance only now in the third year
Mm-hmm.
because for the first 2 years I had zero balance. I didn't take care of myself, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying this is the right way of doing it, but that's something I did, and I think it was wrong
Mm-hmm.
because I was usually quite fit before I started the eco trunk. I would
Mm-hmm.
play squash, I'd go for walks. I had a certain weight I had maintained, and after starting the eco trunk for 2 years, I would only work. I was working nonstop. We'd start in the morning, and I would be thinking about work when I was actually not on the laptop. So it consumes you, and
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
yeah.
consumed by a certain thought, you can't do anything else, according to me. So
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years, I completely neglected my health,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I would say, not good again. I'm
Yeah.
trying to say to anyone who's starting a new enterprise, please be very, very careful about this because you can tend to put on weight, you can tend to become sluggish, you can tend to, there are a lot of things that will just go out of hand, and 2 years is a very long time.
Yeah, yeah, true. It can impact actually your business as well eventually if you don't maintain your health.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did get a few bouts of, when we would, if suppose, there are lots of things that happen in the business on a daily basis. Challenges are thrown at you
Yeah,
and how. So to be able to deal with that, you have to be physically fit
true.
and mentally fit, both. And I realized that a little later when I was not able to deal with anything that was happening negatively to the company, even a small negative review would really affect me, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And then that's when I realized that, I need to step away a little bit. I need to also look after myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, so now I do regular walks, I'm doing yoga, and I take care of what I eat. instead of downing 5 cups of coffee to get through the day, I don't do that anymore. I don't have coffee unless I really need it.
Yeah.
I've cut down on my, tea intake, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And how does your typical day look like these days?
My typical day. So I'm not an early riser. I wish I was. Every time I read a book about some important guy who's really made it in life and how they all wake up at 4:30 a.m. and I'm like, wow, when am I going to get there?
Yeah.
I can't wake up in the morning. I'm someone who can think the whole night, or I can sit and write ideas the whole night. But I can't. I wake up very late. I wake up around 8.
Mm-hmm.
So I wake up, I have my fruits, and I get ready and I'm at work by 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
10:30 to 1 o'clock is when we get our maximum work done. So
Okay.
in the morning, we kind of, all the, challenging things, all the firefighting issues are dealt with first thing in the morning.
Like I read a book which was called Killing the Frog First. So it is like deal with the ugliest things first. So that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that works also because after lunch, you naturally become a little sluggish. You're naturally a bit slower. So around 1:30 we do break for lunch. Sometimes it becomes 2:30 also.
Mm-hmm.
And 2:30 to 3:30 we have our lunch. 3 o'clock actually. 3 to 5 again we are back to work.
All right.
So the way it works is my office is in a sharing environment. I share the office with someone who works only for 2 hours in the evening.
All right.
So 5 o'clock we empty the office for that person. 5 to
Okay.
7 is their time.
Okay.
And whatever little work is left for those 2 hours, we do it from home. So my team kind of goes home and then works for a couple of hours.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So it's like a flexible routine at work.
Yeah, they also prefer it because by 4:35 they can leave. They don't get traffic because a
Yeah.
couple of them from quite far.
Mm-hmm.
They have to change a train or etc. So for them it works much better. If they had to leave at 7 o'clock every day, they would get a lot of traffic. And
Mm-hmm.
when we do have the office for the whole day and they have to leave at 7, I know how they manage to get home and in a very crowded train.
Yeah. So it's better to avoid traffic, and that's how it helps them out also. Yeah.
So they are also liking this lifestyle, wherein they can come work, leave early, and then whatever little bit is left, they can just do it from home.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the startup culture, I think you can make these kind of changes and there is no problem, and I think it turns out good only.
It does, because when we do sit till 7:30, we ourselves are so exhausted that the next day is crazy for us.
Yeah,
And
of
by
course.
Friday, we are literally crawling out of the office. So I don't know how the others do it, but working from 10 to 7 is very long. And
Yeah.
so we break at 4:30, 4:35 actually.
Mhm.
And whatever little is left, then they're doing it from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And as you are a vegan, so how do you plan your everyday meals? So you like pre-make them and then consume it throughout. Can you describe your meal plan for a day?
Okay, so when I was not taking care of myself and I was just consumed with the idea of doing the business and promoting and this and that, I would eat a lot.
Yeah.
So morning was a sandwich. So there's a place where you can get gluten-free vegan bread from very close to my house. We used to try that.
Okay.
I'd fill it in with tomatoes and vegetables and stuff.
Yeah.
And we also had vegan cheese at that point on our website. So there'll be a lot of vegan cheese at home.
Yeah, of course.
And I'd have that big sandwich before I went always. Even as soon as I turned vegan, okay, so I have to mention this. As soon as I turned vegan, I did do a nutrition course at the Health Awareness Center.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and really, it was one of the best courses that I can recommend in the city. And there, I had picked up a lot of healthy habits, which became a part of my lifestyle. And one of them was that as soon as I wake up, I'm going to have a fruit.
Okay.
Fruits became a part of my life. Before that, I didn't. I used to just eat one banana in 2 days. I didn't know. I didn't even like fruits actually before this course.
So what fruit you have usually in the morning now?
Anything I can find. I have bananas, I have mangoes, whatever's in season, strawberry. I'll have pear, I'll have apple, whatever I can find. Trust me, I love fruit.
Yeah.
I love every fruit. Watermelon,
Mm-hmm.
I could finish half a watermelon at one go. And there was a time where I couldn't
Wow.
even have three bites, you know. So it's been a
Mm-hmm.
long journey in terms of health.
Mm-hmm.
I love fruit now. I mean, I eat at least a kilo of fruits in a day now.
Wow, that's massive.
That's massive, exactly. And so yeah, I start my day with fruits. It's either it's a smoothie or it's just cut fruits, sort of chiku, banana, mango, apple, whatever, everything put together.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I have that sandwich before I leave for work. But
Mm-hmm.
if I have to say what I do now, I try and be raw for 50% of the day now, which means in the morning I have only fruit. Whatever's in season. So right now, mango, I'm getting these beautiful organic mangoes from Brindavan Farm, which they are so amazing that I have this one big mango and I'm done for like a good 3-4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, the mangoes
Okay.
weigh more than a kilo themselves. They're huge and beautiful.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And so mornings is only fruits. Then I break for lunch. So lunch we
Mm-hmm.
have a canteen close by. I either call for the food from there, which is happens to be 100% vegan, by the way. They don't add any dahi,
Wow.
they don't add any butter, no ghee. Or sometimes I come home for lunch because my office is very close by. So again, the lunch is going
Mm-hmm.
to be gluten-free roti and
Mm-hmm.
oil-free dal and sabji, some
Mm-hmm.
salad, and whenever we have dairy-free dahi also.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, at least my mom makes it at least once or twice a month.
With what ingredient it is made? The dairy-free dahi?
It's made with peanut milk.
Peanut
Yeah,
milk.
it's made from
Okay.
peanuts. So we make the milk out of the peanuts,
Mm-hmm.
and then we add the rice flour to it to thicken it. And it's
Okay.
actually really simple. And when I see my mom making it in like 5 minutes, and she just puts it to set, and that thick, creamy dahi is ready in like a day.
Is it delicious also? I mean, the way usual dahi is.
Very delicious. I mean, I have really
Mm-hmm.
taken the taste very well. In my entire family.
Wow. Wow.
And we also make raita out of it. So if somebody doesn't like the peanutty taste, although you can't taste the
Mm-hmm.
peanut as such, but if you still want to
Yeah.
mask it, then if you make a raita out of it where you add a lot of tomatoes and cucumber and all of that.
That's great. So something similar, like it's not curd, which I remember, but I follow a few YouTubers from the US, and there is a specialty burger store there, and they sell a burger called Impossible Burger. So a meat eater cannot tell the difference. It's a pure vegan burger, and it's named Impossible Burger.
Yeah, I know. There are lots of these burgers. I mean, abroad, I think the movement has taken to a new level altogether. I think India needs to catch up with them.
Yeah, we need to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving forward, as you mentioned that you do Vipassana as your mindfulness or meditation practice, so how do you include it in your day-to-day life? Or is it like, are there some other methods also which you use for meditative practice, like music of some kind or things like that?
If I took care of myself better, I would do more music in my life, but I
Mm-hmm,
don't. Um,
mm-hmm,
I wish I did because I love music and it really helps me relax and, disconnect.
mm-hmm,
Vipassana, I have started practicing it, but again, I'm not a good student. I'm supposed to do it at least 1 hour or 2 hours a day. I do it for 15 minutes max,
mm-hmm.
so it's not great, but it's still better than nothing.
Yeah, but I think in your entrepreneur kind of lifestyle, if you can just fit 15 minutes also, it is a great thing.
Yeah, yeah. So that's no, but I'm sure actually if you can, you should take out 1 hour because every time I've done
Mm-hmm,
the course, it's such a beautiful course. It's such a beautiful meditation.
mm-hmm.
And if I can do 1 hour of that, I'm just going to save time doing other things. Work gets done
Yeah.
much faster if you're in a very meditative and focused state of mind.
Yeah, it puts you into the zone, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of music you prefer to or listen like to put yourself into focus, if you may?
I don't have any favorites and anymore. I'd say I like something that's more, I love instrumental music a lot. So I'm listening to a
Okay.
lot of handpan. I listen to a little bit of Bollywood also, especially A.R.
Hmm.
Rahman stuff, which is
Yeah.
very,
A little soulful
I like
music,
soulful
basically.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. And then, there are lots of these new age people also who come up who have some interesting music like Billie Eilish. I really
Yeah,
enjoy her
of course.
music. So yeah, lots
Yeah.
of it's a mix. And of course, there's always Tracy Chapman who I go back to
Tracy
help me.
Chapman. Any song you would like to mention of Tracy
One of my
Chapman?
favorites is Pasca. So yeah, Tracy
Mm-hmm.
Chapman is definitely someone I can just blindly go to for my music therapy. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. And are there any apps and gadgets which you can mention which make your life better on day-to-day basis?
No, I'm very old school. I have a notebook. I write. So, if there's any
Uh-huh.
idea I have, I sit and write it. If there's anything I need to do for tomorrow, or, Monday is coming tomorrow. So I'll just kind of scribble some things in my notebook that, oh, this is. We also have a schedule that we've already planned out like a month. Like we just have a schedule up always.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Monday, what we are doing, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. So when my team comes in, they just know ये आज करना है. So I don't really have to be after
Yeah.
them at all. They just know Monday is this, Tuesday is that. So overall, we have a rough
Okay.
idea of what we're doing on each day.
So keeping it simple. So as you mentioned, you write it down on a notebook. Are there any specific notebooks which you have on your store as well, or maybe you can recommend which are more eco-friendly? Because paper cutting is also like a non-eco-friendly thing, right? So
Absolutely.
is there any product which you would like to
We do
recommend?
have we do have recycled paper notebooks, and that's the one I'm
Okay.
using. And we also have something called bamboo tissues right now, something that I feel very strongly about. On a
Wow.
daily
Mm-hmm.
basis, what I was noticing is in my office, they were, tissue papers would just be taken out to wipe your hand after eating. Kuch khil gaya khane mein, you take out a tissue paper. You have to go to the
Mm-hmm.
washroom, you take out a tissue paper. So on a daily basis, each person was using about 4 to 5 tissues. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was driving me mad because, when you look at a tree being cut, you can't tolerate it, right? You really get
Yeah.
emotional and you're like, how can they do that? But when we use the tissue
Yeah.
paper, we are not seeing the tree being cut.
Yeah. We are not conscious about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's happening with every tissue paper that we use. The tree is being cut for this. So
Mm-hmm.
then we try to source a type of bamboo tissue paper. So what happens with
Mm-hmm.
bamboo is that bamboo is almost considered a grass now,
Yeah.
and they regenerate without having to sow any seeds. So if you cut a bamboo, it'll just grow back. It's not like a tree that has roots, and you cut a tree, it's not going to grow back, it's dead. With bamboo, it's like a grass, and they grow anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we've started sourcing bamboo tissues for now, which have the same feel as a regular paper tissue.
Paper tissue.
It
Yeah.
does everything like a paper tissue. Of course, we will add that if you can carry a granny handkerchief with you everywhere, please do that. So you're not even
Yeah.
using the bamboo tissue, and you're just using
Mm-hmm.
that handkerchief to wipe your hands and mouth and just, wash it when you can. But in
Yeah.
case you forget, then at least you have a bamboo tissue right next to you, which
Yeah.
is very much, much, much less.
Impactful to the environment.
Yeah.
True. So you have recycled notebooks as well on your
Yeah.
store and the bamboo tissues as well.
Even gift
Great.
wrapping
I'll
paper,
put,
we have recycled paper, gift wrapping paper,
wow.
lots of things. Yeah, we have envelopes which are recycled. So people use all of this on a daily basis, right? A lot of it, especially
Yeah, of
offices.
course. So I think this podcast should go to a lot of people and they should listen to it and they should buy a lot more stuff which is eco-friendly probably from your store.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. So, moving
yeah.
on, can you name a person who has had a big impact on your life? Maybe a mentor?
Yeah, I have had many mentors, I would say. So, when you start to follow your calling, trust me, the universe just gives you a warm hug in terms of people. They send you lots
Mm-hmm.
and lots of well wishers, good people, teachers, and some lessons will be
Mm-hmm.
difficult. Some people you will hate, but they will teach you a lot. and some will just
Mm-hmm.
become beautiful friends. I have been surrounded by such people. The minute I decided that this is what I wanted to do, I have only met people who have tried to hold my hand and say, okay, this is the direction you should go in. And I would say I've been very lucky with the kind of people who've come in my life.
Wow.
So I have had a friend called Rajat who has really helped me with e-commerce. Since he has his own e-commerce business, he wanted to support. He's such a big activist for veganism that he was
Mm-hmm.
so happy to have someone do something like this. Since, like I said, we were one of the first to start. He's a very big hand in how we are doing. Lots of customers also who support us. Even if they get the same thing on Amazon, they will buy from us,
Mm-hmm.
and that is. I just want to thank everybody who's a customer right now because you are really
Mm-hmm.
taking the effort to support a business that is doing the right thing. And whether
Yeah.
you realize it or not, the reason we are alive today is because of our customers. We are alive
Yeah. Yeah.
today
True.
because of those people who are like, okay, you know what, I'm going to buy it from her website because she's
Yeah.
saying something or doing something that I resonate with. And I don't know
True.
how many people understand this. Your money is very important. Whatever purchase you make from wherever you make it is really
Mm-hmm.
telling that company that, okay, we want you here. So if you're putting your
Mm-hmm.
money in an unethical or a fast fashion brand, then you're also saying that we want you to continue doing
Yeah.
this. But if the more money you put in a recycled paper, eco-friendly products, organic
Yeah.
products, you're just trying to create a bigger demand for it, and there is no purchase that is too small. We
Yeah.
have stuff for $100 also, and we have stuff for
Mm-hmm.
say 3,000 or 5,000 also.
So they are indirectly supporting
In a
the
very big
environment
way.
also.
In a very big way,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
every time you purchase a vegan cheese, or you purchase bamboo tissues, or you purchase a organic T-shirt, or
Mm-hmm.
a vegan personal care, you're saying that I want an ethical world, and that
Mm-hmm.
itself is a very strong statement.
True that.
Yeah.
So, moving forward, what kind of purchase you might have made in recent times, maybe under 5,000 rupees, which might have made a good change in your life?
Recently that we started the bamboo tissues on our website,
Yeah.
because we are a bootstrap company and because we have limited resources to do things, we usually take consignment, or we always work on a dropship model wherein if we have an order, then we ask the brand to ship it, or we take it, we pay only for what is sold.
Yeah.
But the bamboo tissues, the company that we got in touch with for their tissues, they said that it's an outright purchase or nothing. You have to buy it up,
Okay.
and they had a
Okay.
minimum order quantity as well. And we were like,
Mm-hmm.
oh God, we don't do this at all, and should we
Yeah.
even get into something like that? But we decided
Mm-hmm.
to, because it was again something that was a very emotional decision. It was not a decision taken from the business point of view. I realized that
Yeah.
even if I don't sell these, I'm going to gift it to people.
Yeah. So it is like something out of your own emotional sense. You bought the inventory itself.
And I was
Mhm.
happy that I bought it. Yeah.
Is there any book you would like to recommend which you might have read earlier and it changed your life course?
I have completed a book recently, which took me a very long time to finish. Anybody else would have done it in a
Mm-hmm.
week. It took me, what, I don't know how many months to finish the book.
Mm-hmm.
But there are two books that I recommend. One is My Love for Astronomy has made me read Cosmos.
Cosmos.
Cosmos, right. It's a beautiful, beautiful book about the stars and the planets and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wow.
so I love it. Second is Deepak Chopra has written a book, which is a very interestingly written chapter-wise thing, which is called the Seven. What is it called again? I think Seven Lessons to Being Successful, something like that. I don't remember the name
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, we can look that up and we can put that in the show notes.
Sure. That also was a very powerfully written book. And there were
Mm-hmm.
certain changes that I did make in my own self during that time, because he especially talks about giving a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that did make a change in my outlook, that a lot of us want everything for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we forget to give. We forget to sometimes
Yeah.
give first, maybe, that what can I offer this person,
Mm-hmm.
and how can I make that person's life better. So it's on a very personal level.
I think the book's name is The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success. I
Yes,
just
yes,
looked it up.
that's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah. The Seven
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual Laws of Success is a very beautiful book. There were
Mm-hmm.
a couple of lessons which really resonated with me, and one of them was giving something to everybody you meet. Even if it's a little
Wow.
prayer, it could be a little card, a handwritten note. It doesn't have to be a gift, it doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
expensive, but just offering something to the person who you're going to meet next. So, just someone in front of you, someone, you could be your mom, could be anybody. And
Mm-hmm.
that really is a very beautiful thing to do, according to me.
And what next challenge or goal you are looking forward to, you or maybe the Eco Trunk itself?
Next challenge. This year is going to be very crucial for us because it's only most enterprises, most startups kind of shut down after 2 years.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years, they manage anyhow. You manage with your pocket, whatever savings you
Yeah.
have, with your bootstrap
Yeah.
uh, thing. Your parents help you, relatives help you, friends help you.
Yeah. But at some point in time, it has to like start making profit,
Exactly,
otherwise it can
exactly. You
go
have to
broke. Yeah.
sustain, and then once you've sustained, to grow and expand is the most challenging, I would say. So I think we are at a stage where we have sustained and we want to grow,
Mm-hmm.
and it is looking challenging, but it's also exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So that is the next challenge. Awesome. So before finally we wrap up this conversation, any advice or anything you would like to mention to the young entrepreneurs or anyone who would like to hear your advice?
Yeah, my advice would be that don't do it just for the sake of it. Being an entrepreneur is one of the most difficult things you will do. It'll be a lot more
Mm-hmm.
difficult than the current job that you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
don't quit it just to be an entrepreneur. If you have something to say, if you want to change something about the world, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason you want to start an enterprise, then yes, that would be the right reason to. But just to
Mm-hmm.
have a shop and sell jewelry or whatever, just I don't know. I mean, I would personally say don't do it then, because it is a lot of work.
Yeah. So if you have a certain calling and it is not something you can put off and it keeps you awake in the night, then
Yeah,
I think
yeah. If
probably
you
you
want
should
to
go for
bring a
that.
change, if you have something to contribute to making the world better, by all
Mm-hmm.
means, you should start it today. The right time was yesterday, or do it today. But if you're not, if and being an entrepreneur is just a word for you and you just want to try it, then let me just warn you, it's going to be really difficult. Trust me, I feel like angels have been helping me throughout, because I don't know how I survived this roller coaster. It's been a
Mm-hmm.
massively crazy ride.
Awesome. Monica, it was great talking to you and listening to all these advices. So, where can people reach you if they want to get in touch?
So the first thing I would say is that please do visit our website, which is www.theecotrunk.com. We
Mm-hmm.
also have a blog where I have a content writer, and I have also personally written a lot of the blog posts, which is blog.theecotrunk.com.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to personally reach out to me, I have an email address right at the bottom of the website. It's called contact@theecotrunk.com. They can write to me, and I'm reading the emails every day anyway. So I'd love
Mm-hmm.
to hear from someone, and if I made any difference here on this talk.
Yeah. Maybe people who want to start with the conscious lifestyle or maybe veganism or maybe want to start the online business
Yeah,
of something
yeah.
similar. Yeah. All right. So I'll put all of this good stuff and all the links from this episode which you mentioned in the show notes of this episode. Thanks, Monica, for sharing your amazing journey with us.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. It's been a pleasure. I had the best morning right on Sunday, the most productive
Yeah.
morning.
Same here, same here. It was great chatting with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Himanshu again. Now, before you move on, here's something I want to share with you. I have one weekly newsletter which is called Saturday Pentacle. You can think of it as a weekly one-page magazine for the curious minds where you'll find 5 awesome things which I've been pondering on in the last week. It may contain popular articles, blogs, photographs, Instagram posts, books, videos, products, or thoughts. It's completely free. If you want to get it, just go to himanshusachdeva.com. That's my name, himanshusachdeva.com, and drop in your email. You'll get the very next one. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for listening.